So the sexual harassment claims against Roger Ailes and Fox News mount. Now Andrea Tantaros has filed suit. We were waiting for this shoe to drop. She mysteriously disappeared from on air. When Gretchen Carlson sued and 20 other women came forward with charges of sexual harassment against Ailes, who ran Fox News, we were quietly here wondering what would happen with Tantaros because it was such a weird situation where she just immediately stopped being on the air and no one gave a real explanation. They said it had something to do with her selling books on air. Almost all their hosts sell books on air. That was obvious nonsense. We didn't want to talk too much about it because you don't want to insinuate those things if you don't know what's happening. Well, now we know what's happening. So here's the New York Times write-up on that. During arbitration, Mr. Bernstein, that's the lawyer for Tantaros, said Fox News offered to pay her a sum in the 7 figures if she renounced the claims against Mr. Ailes and others at the network, including the host Bill O'Reilly. According to the lawsuits, Ms. Tantaros said she'd been subject to unwelcome advances from Mr. O'Reilly, whom she had regarded as a friend and advisor. Well, if you go to Fox News and you think they're your friends, those guys up there, both in management and with any degree of power at Fox News, and you're an attractive young woman, they're not viewing you as their friend. Oftentimes, as we've seen with story after story, they're viewing you as prey. So it apparently stretches to O'Reilly as well. And by the way, if you're surprised by this, you shouldn't be. Remember, they also settled a famous sexual harassment case against Bill O'Reilly where he sexually harassed one of his producers who worked under him and had non-consensual phone sex with her. It was so weird that she started recording them, and then a lot of the world, including on our program, heard how Bill O'Reilly wanted to rub falafels on her. So are we really surprised that O'Reilly's also involved in the Ailes scandal? Okay, so the lawsuit explains Fox News masquerades as a defender of traditional family values, but behind the scenes, it operates like a sex-fueled, Playboy mansion-like cult steeped in intimidation, indecency, and misogyny. Now, that's not a liberal saying that. If you've ever seen Andrea Tantaros on air, she is die-hard conservative, loves to make fun of liberals, and, you know, we've done, I don't know, maybe dozens of stories on how wrong-headed she is in her attack against liberals, independents, Democrats. So that hard right-winger is like, no, you don't understand. They don't stand for family values. When you're not looking, they're looking to harass us, sleep with us, treat us as lesser people. Oh, by the way, Andrea, you're surprised? Look at the stuff that's on air. Okay. She also says, Ailes did not act alone. He may have been the primary culprit, but his actions were condoned by his most senior lieutenants who engaged in a concerted effort to silence Tantaros by threats, humiliation, and retaliation. And what I'm most interested in is that retaliation, because this is so unprofessional, so mental, that I think the rest of the press is having a hard time wrapping their heads around it. Like, really? Now, again, we'd been telling that this was entirely possible from Fox News, but now we have evidence of it that is shared by the whole world and from insiders, okay? Now, Tantaros went and complained to Bill Shine, who was one of the executives under Ailes, now is one of the 2 executives who's been named to run Fox News after Ailes. Oh, great. And says, Ailes has been doing this stuff to me, talking to me about how he'd like to see me in a bikini, how he wants me to twirl around so he can see my ass, talking about my sex life. And so after she starts to complain, she's on a new show. There's only one interview scheduled for her from the PR department. Normally, you get a whole bunch of interviews. So that's what the PR department does. Okay, she said the sole interview arranged by the publicity department during that period was with a writer for a blog controlled by Fox, who asked her about her breasts and if she was difficult to work with. Oh, you know what that means? They're about to put a hatchet in your back. When they direct you to a blog that's friendly to them and they ask you about how you're difficult to work with, that means that's what they're going to smear you with as they fire you because you wouldn't sleep with the boss. Now there's more. Ms. Tantaros also claimed in the lawsuit that she was the subject of humiliating posts by accounts on Twitter known as, quote, sock puppets, that she says were instigated by the Fox News publicity department. You know, when you talk about sock puppets in the past, they would have said, I'm a conspiracy theorist. No one is going to bother doing sock puppets. No, they do. Yeah, that's what the Fox News PR department was doing. And they wouldn't just do it against their opponents. They'd do it against people inside their own building. More than friendly fire. It was quite unfriendly. And so this is the kind of PR attack they would do against their own if you didn't follow the rules. And the rules were, you either sleep with Ailes or you're a goner. Oh, this is grotesque. Okay. The lawsuit claims that Mr. Shine, the Bill Shine that I was telling you about, told Tantaros that Briganti, who runs the PR department, is like a rabid dog on a chain that we can't control. Sometimes that dog gets off the chain. She's complaining about the PR department attacking her. She's one of their own hosts. And he says, what can I do? She's a rabid dog. Oh, did she get off the chain? How clear is this threat? The least clear thing, the least unclear thing you've ever heard. But wait, it gets clearer. Then, pointing to a picture of Mr. Ailes on a magazine cover, the lawsuit charges Mr. Shine told her that this powerful man has faith in Irena Briganti and that Miss Tantaros needs to let this one go. Now, understand how powerful we are. So stop complaining about the sexual harassment and know your role, little lady. That's how they treat people internally. All that stuff they said on air, did you think they were kidding? No, they meant it. Now Ailes is finally gone because of all this. There was some talk of, some of the hosts were going to leave. There was going to be an uprising. The Fox executives apparently sat them down and told them all the details of what Ailes had done. And even some of them were shocked by it and said, okay, fine, we'll stay. But is there a big changing of the guard? Is everything okay now at Fox News? Have they cleaned it up? Well, how about that Bill Shine that told Tantaros, you better know your role and not mess with the big guy? Well, Mr. Shine was named co-president of Fox News after Mr. Ailes departed. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Fox News, still Fox News. Support independent media by becoming a member of the Young Turks at tytnetwork.com/join.